Hello, welcome back to Auto Pop Culture, and today we're going over Harry Styles' second album called Fine Line. So I know that there's a whole thing about it, it's a whole background and everything with it, and oops, give me one second. There you go. There's a whole background with it, and I'm not really a huge Harry Styles fan. I know of him from One Direction. I know him from his last album, which is I thought it was okay. Only took away a couple of songs from it. But this one definitely has a lot of running back to. This album's a really fine piece of work. The whole thing. And once again, I'm a sucker for storyline. If you give me a full album of storyline, I am completely in. So, and that's exactly what he does. And I want to give you theories of what I think it's about too. And based off of things that I kind of did some research on. But yeah, let's get started into it. I'm going to go through each song to kind of talk about it because I think it's worth it to go through it. It's definitely with storyline albums, you want to go through each song to understand it. So let's get started. So the first song is called Golden. Really good song, really great start to this album. I think it's really nice. I love the da 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 da. I love that in the beginning. I think it's really nice. I think that's the one of the lines I like from him. It says, "I'm out of my head, and I know that you are scared because hearts get broken." I think that's a really heavy thing to say because I think it's one of the things that we all go through when we're starting. Because I think the song's about the beginning of a relationship, the beginning of the butterflies and the fluttering and the honeymoon phase of a relationship. So it's just starting, but you immediately start thinking the worst and the best of everything. Oh my God, we could get married. We could do all these things together. And at the same time, you're like, oh, but what if he doesn't like me? What if he sees the other side of me and it's a shit and he thinks it's a shit show and he just ditches and that was a waste of time or whatever. But he completely describes it in this song. I think it's really, really nice. Number 2 is Watermelon Sugar. I didn't really care for this song. It's a little repetitive for me, and I get the whole gist of it, but I just think it's left. I think the idea of the song kind of going off the album doesn't really make any sense because I feel like he's doing the Kiwi thing. He's like, I compare your body to different fruits and the taste of your body tastes like this, and just I get it, but it throws off the pattern of the let me say this, going into the storyline. It throws you off completely because you don't know where you're going with it. But I think, yeah, I understand a lot of people like it. It's one of the top songs off of his thing on Spotify, but I don't really care for it. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I think about that song. Number 3 is Adore You. So one of my favorite songs off the album. I loved it immediately. I loved the music video. I thought it was really fun. And I love the immediate, he kind of just walks, throws you into the song. Walk in your rainbow paradise. I love, you immediately yes. I love it. I will say this. I think he's a great songwriter. I think if it's just him, if not, then he has a great writing group. I love his ways of his metaphors and everything he says is so smooth. Song's about doing anything for this girl, but I love the client. I love the highs and everything about this song is really, really nice. Number 4 is Lights Up. I didn't really care for this song. I just think it's kind of repetitive over a while. I still don't know what the hell it means. There's possibilities that it's about his sexuality, the fact that it's bookmarked for a minute, but it's about his sexuality, and there's thoughts that it might be the fact that he's bisexual, but he still hasn't said that. He still hasn't came out to what his sexuality is because he has said before that he doesn't want to label his sexuality. He doesn't think there's a need to. And by all means, if that's how you feel about it, that's totally cool. My only thing that I always feel about when it comes to people being stars, and definitely people that are very, very high up, I do believe that political politics and art and music all go hand in hand in some ways. I hate when people say like stick to your music. It's like you can't say that and expect people to bring out you can't expect somebody to not be political, not to be some type of social correct in their music, or not to do that, but at the same time expect them to have a deep song, expect them to say something that you're not really saying anything. You can't say that, because if you can't have one or the other. So I do agree that they both go hand in hand. With that said, I feel like as a celebrity and as a person that's in a spotlight that shines a lot of light on people that are maybe in a situation or whatever, or feeling sexual, like confused or interested or figuring out their sexuality. I think that him teasing that he may be into guys or other people and not saying it, or not at least shining some light or not explanation, but like some light on it, instead of you just gave a song to kind of sneak it in and then throw it completely out, and it's like this is completely speculation, because we still don't really know if it's about his sexuality. But I feel like if it is, I don't like that, because it makes me feel like sexuality is a prop to use to gain money, to gain some attention over actually speaking your truth, And I don't know if that's what he's doing now, but it always makes, reservations about how celebrities come out and how they deal with their sexuality, because I feel like it's very sensitive, because people are always watching. And if you are confused, if you have somebody that's looking up to you and you don't kind of put your foot in full, then then it comes off that you don't really know what you're doing, and it throws other people off, because maybe they don't know what they're doing and they're looking at you to show what you're doing. It's a stage. It's a complete stage. It's a privilege to be, I'll make this quick. It's a privilege to be to have that stage and not do anything about it, So anyway, the song was meh in my case. So number 5 is Cherry. I love Cherry. I think Cherry is the beginning of when he actually goes. So I feel like Light Up is a time where you get the end of everything, of his here's some songs for you to kind of get into everything that about very light, very loving. Now we're gonna get into the serious stuff. And Cherry, I feel like, is that it's completely acoustic. I think that this album goes off through stages of grief. I think that's my thought. And also I looked up and it felt like when it putting together, I feel like this one's anger. The Cherry is anger because it's the first one you go to. And this whole album's about the breakup. So this one says, I notice that there's pieces of you and how I dress. And there's another part, he says, don't call him what you used to call me. And it's one of those things, it's just like, he's talking about his girlfriend, Camilla, or ex-girlfriend, Camilla Rowe. Pretty much how they broke up, but he's still kind of angry over the thing of what's going on. And he kind of has this thing where he feels like he doesn't want to find out somebody else is being called cuckoo, which is she calls him. And he doesn't like he still sees pieces of her left over from when she left, and I think he's noticing that through this. In the end, Camilla is actually in the end. There's a recording of her talking on the phone. And you hear her say cuckoo a couple times throughout this song. You can feel the anger, you can feel the upsetness and the worry about what if somebody's taking my place, and just don't call him what you call me, it's just, he wants to hold on to pieces of the relationship that was his, possessing to it. And I feel like that translate to anger. Number 6 is Falling. Good song again. We're going further into the next stage, which is depression. And this one is, pretty much he's a very heartbreaking ballad. It's so fucking sad. One of the things he says is, I got the feeling that you'll never need me again. Ugh. It's insane. definitely a feeling that you feel like when you're kind of just like, this is it. Like, you'll never come back. You're like, you're doing better now or whatever. And just like, this is it. I have nothing else to go for. You were my one and only. And it's kind of, it's irrational in that sense, but at the same time, it's just like, it's what people feel after a breakup, especially if you've been broken up on. Number 7 is to be so lonely. This is a good song. I love the beginning. The beginning has this like a very fast strumming of a guitar, and it's really, really nice. Reminds me of a very flamenco kind of direction. This stage is actually Denial, I feel like, because I saw that people were saying it's possible drunk phone call that he's saying to her, and that's I think that's a denial. It's like, it's bargaining and denial is just the same thing, when you're trying to find a way to get around it, to get back in that presence, but you can't. That song is kind of talks about that part, and it's really, really nice, but it's really more upbeat in the lightest way. Number 8 is She. I didn't really care for this song because I feel like it's one note for a while, and it's just, it's I don't know. I get but I do like the message. He pretty much is now thinking about his love and the fact that he has an ideal image in his head about the lover that the person that he wants to be with, but he doesn't know who it is, where this person is. But yeah, other than that, I feel like the song kind of dragged a bit. The production did too. But yeah, so number 9, which is one of my favorite songs off the album, is Sunrise Volume 6. I don't know where the 1 through 5 is, but I hope it comes somewhere. I don't know. Maybe I couldn't find the reason for the volume. This is the final stage. This is the final stage of grief, which is acceptance, and you definitely hear it in this. It's completely, he's reflecting on the good times of the relationship, talking about how great like a lot of the quirky things that happened. It's a very sunny type of production, and it's sunflower sunny production. It's perfect. Really great song. I love the production. I think it's so nice. Very clever too. Number 10 is Canyon Moon. So this one actually is Stevie Nicks' favorite song off the album. And it definitely shows. You can definitely hear a Fleetwood Mac type of direction, or at least a 1970s kind of production in that rock direction. Yeah, so this song's pretty much talking about him, like wanting to return to home and to this place in the canyons. I still couldn't understand exactly where it was. There was a thought that it was in LA. There's this place called Canyon something, and he has a house there. Number 11 is Treat People with Kindness. Really cute song. Has a kind of like a direction, that same direction we're saying in the 70s kind of direction. This one actually was a slogan for his merchandise, and the profits from the merchandise sales were given to local charities at each tour stop of his album from the last album, and so he just gave all of the profits to the whatever charities of the city that he was in. Very upbeat, very inspirational, very nice. And then finally we get into number 12, which is Fine Line. This one is okay. It's a great ending because he's trying to find a balance between the highs and lows of love and life. It's all acoustics. It's a nice ending to the album. I don't run back to it. I just think that for the album's sake, I think it's a great album. It's a great ending from an album. So yeah, so that's it. I love this album. I think it's really, really perfectly well written. I think that I'm not a huge Harry Styles fan. I think he's okay. I think he's a good person. I think it's nice. He's very talented. I'm a huge Zayn fan. I think he's very misunderstood. But this album, I cannot deny, it's a really, really good album. I give it a 9 out of 10. Leave a comment below. Tell me what you thought. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What were your top favorite songs? Or your least favorite songs? And I hope everybody has a great week. I will have some more stuff tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Friday Picks. Also, I will probably be taking next week off because it's it's the holidays. Maybe I might throw something if I come to more something else I want to talk about. I'll post it. But anyway, so I hope everybody has a great holiday season, and I'll see you guys in the next video.